Hello, Star Citizens, and welcome to another video. I know I am cranking these things out, but this one is super important. Before we start, of course, we are still doing our giveaway for the month of May. I think you got 4 more days to enter. That means you have to like, dislike, or dislike. You can make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you leave a comment on a video from this month. Make sure you do all those things for a video from this month, and we will make sure we enter you into that giveaway at the end of the month, where we will give away an MPUV tractor. All right, enough said about the giveaway. Now, let's get into this. I think it's time. We have enough information. We still need a Q&A on the Ironclad, but I still think we have enough information to pick a winner in the Ironclad versus Liberator debate. If you don't think those two ships are comparable, then I think you might need to go look at the stats for them. But you don't have to go anywhere because I'll do it for you. So technically we're comparing 3 ships: the Ironclad Assault, and the Liberator. Now, I'm gonna pick a winner, but it's not gonna be in the way you think. All right, so I'll just do, for the people who just came here to see me pick a winner, it's the Ironclad. There you go. You're welcome to leave. You're gonna miss some stuff, but you're welcome to go. All right, now here's the real answer, which is they all obviously are for different purposes. What do I think those purposes are? I think you get the Liberator if you want to transport spaceships, and that's primarily what you need it for. I think you get the Ironclad Assault if you primarily want to transport vehicles, and that's all you need it for. And I think you get the Ironclad Base if you primarily want to transport cargo. Now, can all 3 of them interchange somewhat? Yes. The Ironclad and Ironclad Assault can both take ships with them. The Liberator can take a bunch of cargo with it. All 3 of them can take vehicles. So why do I make these distinctions? Well, the Liberator has 3 dedicated pads externally and 2 dedicated pads internally. So those are actual landing pads. Those are places where your vehicle is, magged down, right? On top of that, you can spawn vehicles on the Liberator. That is a very unique thing about the Liberator. You cannot spawn these same vehicles on the Ironclad Assault or the Ironclad. You can spawn a vehicle on a Liberator. So I don't know how that's going to work, but that's what it was stated in the Q&A, that you can spawn vehicles on the Liberator, and the and that's something that might end up separating the Liberator from the Ironclad, and so on and so forth. The Ironclad, however, has 3 tractor beams, and the top opens up to allow you to drop things from the top into the cargo bay, as well as having the ramps. The Ironclad Assault, it's unclear whether the top can open, but again, like I said, you should only be buying this for vehicles anyway. And it's also unclear whether it has a tractor beam at all, or whether you can swap anything with the tractor beam. All right. Now, obviously, the Ironclad has the most SCU space at 1,530 something, which is insane. And then the Ironclad Assault has 1,150 SCU, and which obviously is less, but like I said, I think that one's primarily for vehicles. Now, the Ironclad Assault has the garage bay. The garage bay on the Ironclad Assault is what I think is what makes it the best one for vehicle transport, because I think they're doing that as like a garage, like you take your ships in there and you can fix your ships, and then they go back out. but I think it's going to be mostly centered around vehicles, even though I do think you'll be able to fix ships with it. But hey, a repair bay is excellent, and it can create components. So it's kind of like a little mini, you know, manufacturing ship, I guess, a little bit there as well. Now, the Ironclad doesn't have the garage, but the Ironclad does have a specific, like, shielded and locked up cargo bay. So if you have people that come on your ship, they can't get access to all of your cargo because they have these little areas where you can put your, like, most valuable cargo in this locked away area. And I haven't seen that on any other ship, so that's a unique thing about it. My guess is also because it's a Drake ship, a lot of this cargo is going to be able to be, you know, hidden away or shielded. And they, you know, they say it's armored. It's armored, but really it's shielded, and I think that's what they're going for with the both the Ironclad and the Ironclad Assault. So yeah, I mean that's the majority of what I want to say. The weapons on them, I think, are a wash, to be completely honest with you. I think the Assault and the Liberator have better weapons overall. The Ironclad is not really weapons, you know, not a weapons platform, but it has enough to keep you alive. The Ironclad has enough to keep you alive. None of these ships should be really fight. Well, the Ironclad Assault is best equipped to fight. The Liberator has more missiles. I think the Liberator has 16 missiles, and I think the Assault has 12 missiles. But the Ironclad has also 12 missiles. But the Assault adds a quad size 3 turret, and it turns the size 5 dual turret into a quad turret from the Ironclad. So it adds 6 guns total, it looks like. And I think that's enough to make that one like the best fighter of the bunch, you know, as far as ground fighting. It's not something you should be fighting in space with. It's a ground assault ship. But yeah, I think that's the difference between the three. So if you're trying to decide between the Liberator, the Ironclad, and the Ironclad Assault, you get the Ironclad if your main focus is going to be cargo, because of those tractor beams and the ability of the top part to open. Hands down the best one for cargo. You get the Assault if your main thing is, I'm going to be landing, popping vehicles off this thing, bringing vehicles back in to fix them up and popping them back out. And I also know that I'm going to need to fight while I'm going in and fight when I'm leaving. And I think you get the Liberator if you know the primary thing I want to do is take my ships from point A to point B. Again, they all three can do a little bit of what the others can do, but I think that's the best I can like separate them and convince you that all three are necessary. Now, this isn't my typical versus where I just say like this one's better than this one, you know. But I do think the Ironclad is the best buy. It's the cheapest at 450. The Ironclad Assault is 535 and the Liberator is 575. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, it doesn't have the dedicated landing pads, but I can still land ships in there, and I could probably land a larger ship in the Ironclad than I can in any of the other two. So I could probably put a very large medium ship inside of that Ironclad. We still have to get it in game, of course, but that huge landing pad on the top of the Liberator is a little different, because the landing pad on top of the Liberator you can fit a larger ship on there, but it's not magged down because they're two separate pads. So you can land it on there, but it's just not going to fit the same. And the same thing with the Ironclad, it has a shorter bay, a shorter cargo bay, because it has the garage in it. So you just, like, quite literally the biggest ship you can fit would fit ironically in the Ironclad. Ironically, Ironclad. I did something there. I like that. Ironclad. Anyway, so I think the Ironclad is the best of the three, also because it has the tractor beams. I just don't see right now a lot of reason for the assault, you know, the taking a bunch of vehicles with you. I have an A2, but my A2 is mostly for the bombs, but I could use the A2 for a ground assault if I really wanted to. So I specifically do not need an Ironclad assault. Now, I don't have a way to do maintenance on those ships in my A2, but with the invention of the NERSA, I'm realizing that maybe I should wait for some ground vehicles, because maybe we're going to get a repaired ground vehicle that I could pop onto my A2 as well. And all of a sudden, now my A2 has a medical bed that I can respawn from, and it's got a repair facility on board. And this whole time we've been thinking, well, you have to get a Carrack if you want all of that. And it's like, no, really, I'm thinking the A2 is going to end up being one of the best ships in the game, and I think that people are going to be upset that they didn't get it. And I also think the Ironclad is the best of these three. And if I had to rank them, I would put the Ironclad first, then I would put the Liberator second, and then the Ironclad Assault third. And the main reason I put the Liberator second is because its ability to spawn. As far as the better ship, the Assault might be slightly better just because it has that huge cargo bay. But just the utility of being able to spawn ships onto a ship, I think that's going to be much more useful than the garage is inside of the Assault. Especially if that garage can only work on ground vehicles. But another thing I'll say though is, if the top can open on the Ironclad Assault, and if you can replace something that's not super important on the Ironclad Assault with a tractor beam, or if it comes with a tractor beam, then I would put the Assault over the Liberator. But I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think the Assault is either going to be missing the ability to open at the top, or it's going to be missing the ability to put a tractor beam on it, or it won't come standard with the tractor beam, at least anyway. Or maybe you have to give something up to get that tractor beam. So yeah, I would go, if in this versus it's Ironclad on top, then it's the Liberator, and then it's the Ironclad Assault. All right, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.